about 15 years ago.
We're on.
I made a big jar of it. Oh, hi. I know. I'm so sorry. I was discussing my jar.
I did not mute myself.
Uh-oh. Let me go see if I muted myself because
I know that I didn't. Okay, now I'm muted.
I didn't either. I'm muted now too. Okay, there we go.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
All right, bear with me for just a momento as I go back to the other screen.
Yeah.
Okay, there we are. So, anyway, welcome everyone to another episode of Witch Times Television with Goddess Rhonda, moi, and got our beautiful goddess Starr.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here tonight. Go ahead, girl.
Good to see everybody. And
Yeah.
you'll notice that Goddess Starr has on this beautiful pink, divine, feminine, goddessy wrap with the flowers embroidered on it. She's looking very, very awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. This is called me keeping warm because it's bloody cold in this city. It is. So I'm like sitting here going, I can't sit sleeveless like you are. I have to put on something. So I did.
Well, it looks lovely on you, darling.
Thank you, darling. Okay.
All right. As always, before we begin, we like to cast a circle of protection around us.
Yeah.
All hail, our lords and ladies of the East, our brothers and sisters, our brother and patron, the sacred element of air, namaste, divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. We charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is, so mote it be.
So it is. So mote it be. All hail our lords and ladies of the South, my brother and sisters, my brother and patron, the sacred element of fire, namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge you, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face the direction, corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is. So mote it be.
So it is, so mote it be. All hail, our lords and ladies of the West, our brothers and sisters, our sister and patron, the sacred element of water. Namaste, divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. We charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is, so mote it be.
So it is, and so mote it be. All hail our lords and ladies of the North, my brother and sisters, my sister and patron, the sacred element of earth. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge you, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face a direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is. So mote it be.
So it is, so mote it be. And we now bring down the divine white light from the sacred source of all well-being and fill all of our spaces with peace and protection always. So it is, so mote it be, and thank you.
So it is. And so it is. And I didn't get to say it, but that blue looked gorgeous on you, girl. You look beautiful as usual.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So tonight we are talking about several different things, but mainly the main thing that we're talking about is, has hostility towards witches increased? Now, I'm going to say yes to that, not only because from what I've seen myself, but also, you know, Goddess Starr went through, we're going to also talk about this thing we saw in the paper and things like that.
Yeah.
But Goddess Starr went through something when she was trying to do her full moon ritual in the same place that she's been doing it for, you know, however long. Like, it's not like this is the first time they've been there.
It's been 10 years. 10 years.
10 years.
10
and now
years.
all of a sudden, oh, dude, you're doing witchcraft. But I'm going to let Goddess Starr tell that story because that's her story. So go ahead, Goddess Starr. Tell them what happened.
It was, I think I kind of put it on Facebook because it bothered me so much. I was just like, does not make any sense. So essentially, we meet for full moon. We've been there. I didn't even realize that until one of my students who lives in San Francisco now said, Starr, it's been 10 years. So I didn't even realize it was that long that we've been meeting in that park, and been around here. I've just known that everything I do is pretty much around that area. So we met for the full moon, and I got there early. I always get there early. I watched the Christian group. I watched them preach and talk to everybody because what they do is they will come, and they started maybe about 2, 3 years ago. They will come and they would feed everyone, and that's all they used to do. They line up of all the homeless people, and they'll feed them. I thought that was great. I even took clothes and stuff to them. They never asked who I was. I just said, just say the Wiccan Temple, um, you know, gave this to you. Of course, they never said anything to anyone. And I gave them clothing and food and stuff like that because I figured there's already somebody there feeding them. Why bother doing another one next to them? It didn't make sense.
Right.
So I
Right.
just, and it was just me doing it basically. So I just kind of gave them the food and clothing over the time. So I didn't think anything about it. Um, and then it's in the last 2 years now, there's a woman and she would come and she will preach to them first. She will put up a tent. They will run and go plug in their electrical into the electrical outlets in the poles in the park. You're not supposed to even be doing that. You need to get what they told me when I tried to do an event there for a sound permit. I needed to get a sound permit, which is $45. Then I need to get just to plug, literally to plug the hole into it, the cord into one of their
Right.
poles. I would have to get a certified electrician, which is one of their listings of people, which will
Wow.
cost about minimum 650 to get them. I said, wait a minute, just to plug. They said yes. So I never bothered with it.
Wow.
All of that, okay? And they would plug their things into it. They'll put up a tent, and she will stand there and preach for a good hour and a half, and then she'll wait them over to a line to feed them. So before they can literally get the food now from them, she preaches to them. And
Mm.
and on the 24th, when we got there, I sat there and I watched her, and I said I shook my head because she was preaching about um, giving everyone a chance and giving them the benefit of a doubt. And I'm sitting there shaking my head and thinking, let's see what happens now, And then we began. They were all finished, and they were they were feeding the people now at their part, on the street part. And then she started up. The minute she saw us start circling up, she started shouting and telling everyone, sing loudly, amen, amen. You know that song when we were kids, we all know that Christian song.
Mm.
And they were all singing louder and louder, and we just kind of ignored them through the meditation and everything, and we were just ignoring them.
Right.
And then we thought, okay, that would be it. Next thing I know, this guy, who I've seen many times, every month he will let us into that circle area. He came dashing up in the parks department car, truck, kind of, pickup truck rather. And he jumps out with flashing lights and everything, and he jumps out of it. And I'm going, okay, something's wrong, thinking that to
Right.
myself. And then he just went scaling over the gated area where we are, comes over the fence, didn't even go through the gate. He went over the fence himself, climbed over it, comes to us and starts screaming from the gated area, you guys can't be here. So I cut myself out of the circle and went over to them, walked over to him, and I said, excuse me, what do you mean? Why not? And he goes, oh, it's you. I recognize you. You're here all the time. And I said, yes.
Right.
And you let me into the park every month, into the
Right.
gated area for us to meet every month, and we've had no problems. He
Right.
goes, yeah, you're very nice. I see you all the time. Yeah, I said, so what's the problem? He said, well, they said you're practicing witchcraft, and his face looked terrified. And I'm like, yes, we are witches, and we are practicing our craft. So, yeah. And he goes, but what does that mean? I said, I really don't go into lessons right now, but basically, we're practicing our full moon, which we do every month.
Right.
Not a problem. So he goes, oh, okay. But do you have a permit? I said, no, I don't need a permit, you know, because it's under the 25 people. As you can see, there's only 13 of us. We are way beyond that, way below that. So we don't need it. And that's the
Right.
law. That's the park rules and laws. So he goes, well, you know what? From now on, you're going to have to show a permit. I said, why? He said, because I have to tell them that legally you're allowed to be here. So they would not say anything. I said, okay, now I'm puzzled. I'm like, what do you mean? We have to report to them what the park rules is now going through them? You know, what do they have to do with the rules and regulations here? He goes, well, I don't want any trouble with them. You know, you're going to have to start showing your permit. And I'm like, no, we don't. We do not have to get one if we're under 25 people in this park. That's the law. So he left, you know, and we continued on with the ritual and everything. But the fact is, we were interrupted. First of all, with
Right.
a ritual, and then, you know, afterwards, people kept coming. They interrupted us, but we thought at first they were gonna start heckling us like the other ones were before, and instead they did not. They were apologizing and offering support. Each of them, like about 6 or 7 of them, came up and was apologizing and, you know, so giving us support and saying the Christian lady had no right to do what she did,
Right.
because she was literally calling us what was it? Satan's followers. Like, she's called us different things over the time. The evil witches are meeting, you know, all different things. And one of our people that come to ritual very often, she said she remembers one time she got them so hyped up one of the times that some of her people that she had preached to were throwing garbage at us. And if we were not in
Oh
that
my
gated area, yeah,
goodness.
if we were not in that nicely gated area, we would have been hit by the garbage. But because of where we were and so protected, it didn't reach us. But I mean, the fact is, they were throwing garbage at us, you know?
That's
so,
disgusting.
so that's getting pretty aggressive. And the fact that they are so entitled and believe that, or rather, they believe they're so entitled that they can control everything. And the fact that he came running the way he did, but they said, you're practicing witchcraft. And I'm like, it just feels like in this day and time, also with all of the things that everybody is speaking about witchcraft, you would think that they're more educated. I mean, the internet is so filled with information, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. The fact that they're all stuck in this mindset of what they believe witchcraft is, it doesn't matter what it is. The fact is that it's a religion in this country. We have that right, and all of that they're doing that they ask of us, they do not ask of the Christians. They don't
Yeah, I
ask them for
wanted to
any of that.
know, did they have a permit?
No, they didn't. They never do. They're there almost every other day, doing this as a daily thing. So there's no way they have a parks permit to do that every day. That's not possible because the park does not allow you to have more than maybe 1 or 2 events per month with a permit in the park, not legally. You know what I mean? So no, they do not have a permit to do that every day and plug it in and just go. They just, one of the homeless people just take it and go and plug it into the pole. They put up a tent and then they preach loudly with amplified microphone and everything. They're not allowed to do that. But no one bothers them. No one says anything because they're Christians. And here we are quietly, no amplified sound, 13 of us, and we just doing the full moon. He interrupted a meditation. So
Wow.
so quiet, and he came flying at us. And I was really surprised at him because I speak to this man on a monthly basis. Yes, it took him a minute to recognize us because it was nighttime, but still, I was just appalled. It was just a little bit, disconcerting, and it made me kind of concerned because, you know, future going on and everything like that, we're going to have problems with these people. So I actually sent an email out today I called up from all the other parks permits I had. They have their phone numbers and everything and who to contact
Right.
for different things. So I called them up, made sure who I had to send it to, and I sent out an email to 3 of them, the 3 bosses of the parks department for the city. And I told them, I wrote everything as to what it is that occurred. And I even said to them, I like the park employee because he's always been there for us, but what he did was wrong.
Right.
The manner in which that he did it, first of all. He didn't have to, he does not work for them. He works for the park department, not for the Christians that were there. So his thing, if he knew the rules himself, he's been working there all this time. He should have been able to say to them, they don't have 25 people. They're allowed to be there. And that should have been the end of it instead of him coming to us the way he did.
And how many people did they have?
Oh my goodness. She never has. It's the same. I consider it the same way. I would say she has about 60 or 70 people there.
Wow.
And they all kind of sit on the benches on both sides, look at her, and then when she goes, stand up and sing and listen to me, and she's preaching to them, and they're like, "Yes, Lord," and all these things. Um, that's a congregation, no matter how you get that congregation. It's the same
Yes,
as
it is. That's a
when we gather in the
congregation.
park. Exactly. When we gather in the park, that's a congregation, whether it's 2 people or 13 people or 70 people. So here we are under all of their laws. We should not even be questioned in any way. And 60, 70 homeless people in the park there, and she's, some of them are part of her group from her church, and they're all there preaching, and she's talking all these things of tolerance and everything. And I literally said right before she ended, I said, it would be nice if she practiced what she preached. She
Yeah.
does not. She does not. So that was yeah, kind of interesting.
That's terrible that you had to go through that, have your ceremony disrupted, your meditation disrupted, the entire spiritual experience
Disrupted.
disrupted
Yeah,
from
exactly.
people who feel that they have a stronger right than you do to occupy the park and practice their form of spirituality, which you had no problem with. You gave them clothes. You actually said, okay, that's nice, and you gave them food and gave them clothes and
Yeah.
supported their efforts. And in the meantime, they're throwing garbage at you.
And the woman who was starting up all of that, she was not there at the times when I used to give. It was a gentleman who was there with something called ministry van or whatever. And I used to say, since you guys take all these things for the homeless and stuff like that, I brought them clothing, I brought them toiletries, I brought them food, all those things. She is a new person apparently, and she knows nothing about me, but she's already assumed what she wants to assume.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
I'm going to be very interested to hear the responses.
Me too. Me too. I waited. I checked before the show to check because I wanted to kind of say something if they responded, but I didn't get a response as yet. Um, and usually we do have a full moon a permit just in case if it comes to more than 25 people. This time I even had it, but I did not bring it to the park because we don't need it. We're under 25 people. So I
Right,
didn't even think about it. I just kind of left it, didn't think about it, and just, showed up. And to have him question it and tell me I need to provide it every time I'm there now, I'm like, then that would mean you should be asking them for their sound permit, their amplified permit, not sound and amplify the same thing. So and their electrical outlet certified electrician for $650. Let's see if they can provide all that.
right. That is I just think that was so, oh, when I read that, I was outraged,
Yeah,
outraged that they put you through that just because you're a witch.
yeah, pretty much. That's it. Because his words to me, the first thing he said after he said, "Oh, it's you," it was, well, they told me you guys are practicing witchcraft, and I'm looking at him like completely like, are you kidding me? In this day and time, we're 2018. Are you bloody kidding me at this point?
So
So
what
then
was he expecting? Was he expecting you to be like sacrificing a
I have no
baby or
idea.
something?
I know. Because I've had people say to us, um, "Are you going to be sacrificing babies?" And I thought they were joking, and they literally were serious. I said, "Wow." I said, and I would start stammering because I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, I have no idea what to say to this person who's totally serious looking at me and say, I can't. And I want to say I can't talk to stupid, but I can't say that to an adult.
Right.
So I just walk away just thinking it's in my head. I can't talk to stupid. I can't, But I had to explain that to the parks person, and then and then he saw me with the full moon, the things I put out on Facebook for people about the astrological and all the different things. And he goes, "So what is it that you guys are doing?" I said, "The full moon celebration. Isn't she beautiful?" And I looked up at the moon. I'm just like, it was just, the whole thing was just amazing. And it's just 2018, and we're experiencing so many different firsts, of things that we never thought we would see in this country, but it is
Yeah. And I
an eye
even
opener.
just read, I mean, the hatred, not even just towards witches. I'm going to say, if you're not like, and please keep in mind that Goddess Starr and I do recognize that there are plenty of wonderful Christian people
Yes,
that are
I know
supportive
many.
and they do good. We're not putting down Christianity whatsoever. We are addressing those people that feel that they have a right to persecute other religions.
Yeah.
And I saw this article. I didn't read the whole thing because just the headline enraged me, that someone actually went into a synagogue
What?
and killed 11 people. They were having a bris,
Oh
where they
my God.
with the baby, they circumcised
I know the breast. My son had it because my husband was Russian Jewish. So
they were
my son
doing
had
a
it. Yeah.
bris, and
Wow.
someone came in, said he wanted to kill all the Jews, and just started shooting, killed 11 people, and the response from I hate calling him, the response from the White House was, well, if they had had protection at the door, that wouldn't have happened.
If they had what?
Protection. If they had had armed guards at the door, that wouldn't have happened. That the shooter wouldn't have been able to do
Of
that.
course. Of
Basically
course.
saying it's their fault because they
Yes.
didn't hire guards. Since when do you need a guard to come into a church with you? So I was looking at, this is going on Facebook, and I really try hard not to get involved.
Involved. I know.
What happens
I
is
pass it by.
I get really angry, and then I have nothing to do with my anger. It's hard for me, so I have to get rid of it. So I try not to because I'm such an empath. But I'm looking at some of the responses. A very close friend of mine is Jewish, and he's the one who shared the article. That's why I saw it. And there was someone on the page that wrote on there, "Oh, you people are getting out of control. It's not Donald Trump's fault that this happened in Jerusalem or Israel or something. They have armed guards at their synagogue. Why shouldn't the people here have that? Because they have some protection." I'm like, because it's a freaking church. You could call it a synagogue, a temple. To me, it's a place of God and goddess and worship, or whatever you term your stuff. This is a place of spirituality. All they were doing was having a bris, celebrating a baby boy was born, and following their own spiritual tenets with that. And for that, they're supposed to hire, it's your responsibility to hire an armed guard to stand outside of your place of worship. And quite frankly, if you had hired somebody, that guy would have shot the armed guard and walked in and shot everybody anyway.
Well, it's not just that. Listening to that sounds a lot like when, and they still do it now. They're not as blatant, but they do it now still, because at first they used to tell women when they got raped, it's your fault. Look how you were
Right.
dressed. It's your fault. I mean, it's how a lot of people have turned everything around, not just the cops, but the whatchamacallit, the rapists have actually said that. I remember there was remember what was it, Adam 12? Oh
Yeah,
no,
1 out of
Dragnet.
12.
They did like true stories, and
Right.
they used to do true stories, and one of them was a baby of 6 months old that was raped. And you know what the guy said? It was her fault. She was wiggling her butt. 6 months old, a baby. It was her fault. Okay? So it's always, whether it's 6 months old or 100 years old, it's always their fault. Or whomever they are.
Oh
Because
my
they
God.
are never the ones at fault. They are never, girl, that one tore me apart.
I'm
If
so
I
glad
was
I didn't
if
see
I
that
had met
one.
that if I had met that man, I think I would have lost it.
I would have definitely.
I would have torn him apart myself. That thing tore me up watching that. I couldn't watch. That's why I can't watch any of the police shows and stuff anymore. I can't. The true life, I can't. That one tore me up to know that and the man is going to say she asked for it. Her butt was wiggling. A 6-month-old. It still bothers me to today. And look how old the show was. And I'm just
Wow.
like, this is what I mean. They're always victimizing the victims. It's always their fault. And people have to stop doing that. That means no victim is going to come forward and say anything because it's their fault. It's
Right.
always their fault. So I'm sorry. That means that if anyone tries anything with me and I kill their ass violently, it's their ass fault. because they came at me.
Exactly.
But of
And,
course not. I will be arrested.
well, and that's where, if the authorities in charge are not taking this seriously, then how do we know that the next time you want to do a ceremony, maybe you're going to get someone who brings a gun? You just don't know.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
there's no punishment seeming. I mean, they did catch the guy and all, but still, for the leader of this nation to say, well, if you had armed guards, this never would have happened. Like, it's all your fault that 11 people died because some crazy man who didn't like Jewish people decided to kill everybody. And that's going to let all of the crazy people know, oh, well, the president's on our side, so we're just going to go ahead and do what we want to do.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it's coming down to. And it's kind of sad that, in other words, it's chaos. Because if everyone is blaming the victims, it's a very chaotic world. It's no longer, it's the hunter and the hunted kind of a thing, or the hunters and the preys kind of a thing. It's no longer a land that is not just free, but I mean, and not even just at peace. The words are just missing from what I want to say right now. It's just it should be lawful in the
Of
sense where we
course
live in
it
within
should.
certain laws and all of that. And right now it just feels like utter chaos. Anyone can do anything they want depending on who's in charge or who thinks they're in charge.
What I
And
think what they're doing is they're making an effort to drive us back underground, to drive us back deep into the woods where they don't have to see us or deal with us. If you're not, and again, we want to make it very clear that we are not putting down Christianity or Christians. We are talking about people who pretend to be Christians because their behavior reflects that they are certainly not followers of Christ. We are talking about these people that feel that they have the right to say what they want. They want to take away our freedom of speech. They want to take away our ability to worship the way we want to worship, who we want to worship, and where we want to worship. They are trying to drive us back with fear. They're trying to instill fear, that same fear that we had when we had to worry about being drowned and burned at the stake. That is what they are trying to do, is to drive these crazy people are trying to do that. And they're getting more and more violent. And, with the exception, and maybe I'm wrong because I don't watch much of them. The only reason I saw that with the synagogue is because one of my very close friends who's Jewish posted it, and he got into a fight with someone who was defending what the White House said. And so, but as far as I know, as far as I am aware of, with the exception of Black churches being persecuted by the KKK, burning crosses and things like that, I don't know that I have heard of, let's say, just a regular Christian, a white Christian church being people coming and shooting people there. I don't think I've ever heard of
I've
that.
never, I don't think I've ever.
You
And
would hear
the
it
funny
all.
thing is, every time I see them carry on the way that they do, and I have lots of friends who are Christians, and they are not, um, the ones that I know, very intelligent. I'm going to say that they're intelligent because they have intelligent conversations with me, and they know I'm a witch, and they are friends with me on
Right.
their own accord because they said they respect what I do as much as I respect what they do as well. And we get along just fine. We have conversations about it and we don't even get heated
Absolutely.
conversations. So I have respect. The thing I don't like is if I have respect for your rights and your religion, why can't you have the same for me
Right.
in general? And that's all we're asking for. We're not asking for entitlement or special things done for us or favors done for us, just in a fair manner. Whatever you have, we should have as well in the rights for our religion. And I think they forget. At one point, it was the pagan religions that was ruling, and they were the new upstart that was coming in. And
Right.
people
That's
used to look
right.
at them and push them back and go, that Christian person, you believe them? Look at them. They believe in one God. I remembered all of, not I remember it, but you know what I mean.
I was going to say, got a star.
Actually, I have had some memories of things of past where I literally felt like I was there, and
And you
I've
probably
seen it,
were.
and they were like they did not like it. They were like, why can't we practice what we want to practice and believe in what we believe? Give us a chance, and you can have your own thing. And they did not go used to preach to people. They just wanted to practice their own spirituality. They got their chance, and now you give people chances, and sometimes it's kind of comes into, well, now I'm going to take over. And that's what it's become. That's all we're asking is for a fairness with it. That's all we're asking for. I don't see what's so wrong with that.
And the thing is, what really kills me about stuff like this, like, when I first started coming to Witchfest, it was great. We all had fun. We still have fun. And it's a good time. And then I think is it only the past 2 years that these idiots have been showing up with their signs and their microphones and disrupting Witchfest with their big things that were going to burn in hell.
Yeah.
Talking like 6 foot. These signs are like 10 feet tall. They were huge, giant, tall signs.
Yep,
We're
they
going to
were.
burn in hell. We're going to do this. And this guy had his microphone and he's screaming and preaching.
Yep,
And screaming
he was
at us.
very loud.
And my attitude is I'm looking at them. They're screaming. They're angry. They're trying to force their will on other people. They're calling us all kinds of horrible names. And I'm like, here we are. We're peaceful. We're having a nice, pleasant time. We're doing pleasant, uplifting ceremonies there. And I'm like, who is the one that's depicting evil here? Us, who are trying to have, we're peaceful and we're encouraging everyone and we're having peaceful, encouraging, uplifting ceremonies and classes to educate people in a quiet and peaceful manner. And they're standing on the corner, literally frothing at the mouth with these giant signs, screaming and yelling and condemning us to hell. And I'm like, who really is the face of evil here today?
And the thing is, they don't see it. They're like a blank. You're talking to like a wall, and we don't understand it. And they've shown up at Pagan Pride, and they've shown up at Witches Fest. They're just there all the time and yelling and carrying on, belligerent and heckling.
When what they could be doing is being out helping the poor and doing the things that they can be doing to help fix the world in a positive way. But these are extremists who are not, these really aren't Christians. These are people that just want to start drama. And they are control freaks that want to do what they want to do. And the thing that's scary is if you look in their eyes, there's nothing there. They're completely, you can talk to them and they're not focused. They're not there.
And I'll tell you, it's not just Christians, because when people have to understand, Christians and Catholics are two different things. Yes, and I'm sure as witches, we have our extreme on the other end too. There are extremes in our religion as well. It's in every aspect of society. So it's not just Christians or anything, because for many years, and we never lie or mislead anyone when we, as a temple, in renting space within their buildings, we would provide our 501c3, and it says New York City Wiccan Family Temple. And we were, for many years, were at, what was the name of that place at 18 Bleecker Street? It's a Catholic ran, I don't understand how I don't remember it. But here is the Russian, the Jewish Hebrew with the oy vey, right? Anyways, so we were there for a good 4 years doing classes and rituals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, they sent me an email. What was it? Last year?
I think it was last year.
Last year, letting me know that the Archdiocese of New York no longer wanted me in their building. Wow. So I said, why? The Archdiocese. I'm like, where did they suddenly hear of me? But he did. And he said we were no longer to enter the building. And I'm like, what did we do? And then the head person at the Sheen Center, there it is, at the Sheen Center at 18 Bleecker Street. She called me and she said, I am so sorry. We pleaded with them. We told them how wonderful you guys have been. You're the only ones who pays us up front and always on time and always everything, and leave the place cleaner than you met it. And she said, it's against their mission statement. And I said, what does your mission statement say? Suffer the witches to enter their property. Wow. So we witches, anyone that is considered pagan or a witch, is not allowed in their buildings anymore. And so we were told after 4 years, almost 5 years, to no longer enter their building.
And don't we find it interesting that coincides with who's in the White House?
Oh yeah, I'm imagining it, right? This happened last year at July last year. Remember, I told you guys I was on my way. We're gonna do the indoor Witches Fest, and the Sheen Center said it's great. And on my way to them, after they called me and said, "Come, let's sign the contract," they called me and told me, "Please don't come. This is what the Archdiocese of New York said." Interesting. And I get this coming from so many people with every event I try to do. And you've seen me fight to the last minute getting the Witch Fest permit the night before Witch Fest,
Right.
fighting from December 30th to July to get a permit because either the community board or the whatever it is, they've all denied us for, and they've all made up different reasons each time. And every time I cover that reason the following year, oh, it's a new reason. So I never know what reason they come up with, which is why when this last year, I just told them this time, I said, I'm not pleading, I'm not stating anything. I'm just simply going to say, you've already decided you're not going to approve us. I'm not expecting any less from you guys. But I thank you guys because I'm allowed to speak, and that's all I'm allowed to say. So go ahead and do what you normally do. I'll just write the letter in response to it so we can go ahead.
Right.
And we got approved 40-1. So I was amazed at that, or rather 39-1 out of the 40 in the group. Yay! I think it's because I said I don't expect any changes. You guys are going to come up with reasons, and no matter what, and tell us we're not approved. So go right ahead. I'm done.
And didn't some of them actually come to Witch Fest this year?
Yeah, they did. They came, and not only that, they followed us to the other street that we were at, and they came and they enjoyed it, and they said, "Oh my gosh, we had such a wonderful time. Please come back again next year."
See?
So we were very pleased with that. So it's just, we shouldn't even have to go through with all of that. And I've been putting up with it for so long and fighting them on tooth and nail. It gets hard.
Yeah, it does. Well, let's take a look at what's happening in our chat room. Okay, let's take, where are we? There we are. Let's see.
I know our people are all going on.
Oh, everybody's riled up now. Okay. We might have started a riot, Goddess Starr.
Oh my goodness. I love these people.
All right, let's see.
They know
Where
what we
are
feel.
we?
They know what we feel.
First, thank you so much. We know you. We know you. We love all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us in our chat room. And all of your wonderful comments. We have beautiful Dark Goddess, Sister Midnight, Lily Barfield, our beautiful Goddess Judy, of course, and Goddess Tina, and Goddess Monica, and Goddess Judy, and Goddess Faduma, and Goddess Carol, and everyone. We are just so grateful as always to have you here. So now let's see, we're going to give you your 2 cents to put in. So we've got Goddess Monica says, people are insane. That is the truth. Goddess Peggy says, how come they're allowed? That's crazy. We have beautiful Dark Goddess who says, wasn't she preaching about not being judgmental, the hypocrisy? See,
Yes, yes, right before she was preaching this, and here she goes.
And here she is. And we've got Peggy who says, the world is going crazy. I'm afraid it's going to get worse before it gets better. Please be safe. I agree. You might, and you really might want to consider actually investing in bulletproof vests because you don't know what people are going to do. We've got Sister Midnight who says, I completely understand Goddess Starr. I surely do not tell anyone in professional life that I am a witch. And Goddess Monica says the other chick needs to get her permit and the park guy needs to ask them to present it each time. And I agree. And I'm hoping that the people that you wrote to will enforce that.
Yep, I did too, because I said maybe they'll get some bite back from that. So they'll start going, okay, we need to stop so we can be able to continue being here. Hopefully that's what will happen.
And we've got our beautiful goddess Satsuki Yonde Moon, who says, I think I said it right, said there are some people who do this in my town across the street from the bus plaza downtown. It is straight up harassment. Yes, it is. Beautiful Dark Goddess said, tell Sister Midnight, I don't tell anyone I am a witch either. However, I wish I could. It's a beautiful spiritual path. Goddess Peggy says, true, these people preach tolerance, yet they feel they're better than anyone. I have to tell you, I actually enjoy going up against these people because, believe it or not, Goddess Rhonda used to teach Sunday school the Church of Christ, which is, they feel they're the only real church because it says in Romans 16:16, let the churches of Christ salute you. So they name themselves that. And therefore, if your name is not the Church of Christ, you have no right saying you're a Christian. So I belong to one of the most conservative Christian churches there is. And I am more than happy to talk scripture with anybody. And I always manage to shut them down. I really enjoy doing that because they don't expect me to come out of my mouth and scripture. But anyway, so we've got Goddess Peggy says exactly there's not different rules for different beliefs. And Sister Midnight, I love your name, Sister Midnight. Goddess agreed, but still not socially acceptable, or maybe some people would, but not to the point where I can show up to work and start announcing it. Goddess Peggy says people literally think witches sacrifice animals, children, and summon demons. Like, I know, and I hate that I don't even know where they get that from, except from Hollywood or television or whatever. I have no idea. Goddess Monica says, yes, it's monstrous, and Beautiful Dark Goddess says people are so misinformed about it. And the thing is, you know what, Beautiful Dark Goddess, they don't have to be. We have so much information, so many things that maybe they didn't have it 100 years ago and they were just based on their superstition. We have so much information now that you can educate yourself. There is no reason to allow yourself to be ignorant, but they choose to live in ignorance because that is what justifies to them their actions. And if they were to learn that they can't do what they're supposed to do, since they're a bunch of narcissistic sociopath control freaks, they wouldn't be able to handle that. So it's easier for them to live in ignorance.
You know what, though, too, I have to say, I have seen on YouTube or different things, there are people, I don't know, but I'm hearing feedback. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm still off. Okay. There are people on YouTube with videos that said they were once witches and now they're Christians and they are the worst people ever because they're coming at it from, I don't know where they're coming from it. I don't know what type of witchcraft they were practicing, that they were saying all these horrible things about what we do and don't do. And they are now Christian and holier than thou, you know, and you're sitting there going, wait a minute, you were a witch and this is what you're saying? At least be honest about everything that you experienced. And if you were in a bad group, that has nothing to do with the religion or our belief system. If you were in a bad group, that's like with anything else. There are bad groups that are Christians or Catholics or whatever. No one blames the priest for all the pedophilia and all the different things. They all get away with whatever it is.
Right.
So it's a matter of, I mean, but it is, if you Google it if you Google it, you would see there are many witches that are no longer witches that are now Christians, and they are the worst ones that will speak of these things and make it sound like we do the animal sacrifice and the baby sacrifice and all the different things. And you're sitting there going, then you were not a witch, but somehow they say they were. And they've got people believing whatever it is. And I think a lot of them, when they do a Google search, they don't go, what is witchcraft or something? They go, witchcraft and the evil, or witchcraft and the whatever. So they get those answers from people that are saying those things. It doesn't mean it's correct. It's a matter of what they're Googling. What are they searching for? They're searching for the negative. They're searching not for the truth, but only for the negative of what people have said. But it doesn't mean it's true. And they're ignorant and they're getting, which is why I tell people Google is your best friend, but don't forget, things are not always accurate because it's from everybody's statements of it. That means you have to do your book research. I always tell people, no one should be a reverend or a high priestess unless they've studied theology, not just witchcraft, but theology. Learn history as the religions and all of it. So when you speak to a Christian or Catholic or whatever it is, you're speaking with the knowledge that you know your history the same way they do. You know, we should not be ignorant of anything, just like they should not be ignorant of witchcraft. Because next week I am supposed to be speaking with an Orthodox Christian coming in because he's from the military and he has pagans there and he said he wants to understand them better. So can he speak with me? And I said, absolutely. I said, I love the fact that he's open to speak about it. You know, because he said the fact that this man is saying he wants to understand the pagans in the military that he has to watch over. That is a big thing to me. The fact that he's open to that. So I'm willing to speak to someone like that has an
Of
open mind.
course, if you get the opportunity to educate somebody, that's a great thing. And you're right about people who, they used to be witches, and now that they're not, have had, past tense, I mean, a really close friend, like really, really close, 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 close. I've taught her a lot, and she was a witch, and she got her cosmetology license, and she was priestessing to people that she was doing their nails and things like that. And she had moved to Texas, and so we would always, we would talk on the phone and things like that. And she moved back to New Mexico, and she says, I'm registering for medical school. As soon as I get myself together, let's get together. I was like, okay, sure, because she's moving and she's got to do this. So I left her alone and did my thing, didn't think about it. And then one was like, man, I haven't heard from her in a long time. And so I went to look her up on Facebook, found out that she had unfriended me and several other associates that we know. And there's this big thing on her page that said, I want to know the suffering of Christ. I want to feel his pain, with this big cross. And
Oh my goodness.
like, okay, she became a Christian. All right. But she's known me for years. Would it have killed her to say, hey, listen, you know what? I've decided to go down a different spiritual path, no hard feelings, and wish me luck or whatever. And I would have said, absolutely, you need to call me or whatever. Instead, this was someone who's very close to me. She just completely cut me off.
Yeah.
And
They're
I
told
was
to do that. They're told to do that.
She knows I'm a good person and I like to help people, but she discarded me like I was garbage.
Yep.
And I gotta know if she did that because she truly felt that way. I'm, or her mother or her other people that she goes to church with might have told her, oh, you're gonna have to disassociate. You used to be a witch. Now you're gonna have to disassociate from everybody.
Yeah.
It would not have killed her to shoot me a text to say, this is the path I've decided on. I can't really, I want to really get into it. So I'm going to step away from you for a while, or whatever. And I would have been rock on, mama. Good luck to you and whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
And suddenly I'm stunned.
Yeah. And it's sad because I think I'm not speaking for all witches, but I think the majority of the ones that I do know, we are more open-minded to talk about things in a rational manner and more open about it. Whereas whether they were once witches and became Christians or whatever it is, I don't care. I just wish you all the best because I've had one of those. She wasn't my bestie, but she worked with me. She was a witch before I met her. She was in a coven when I met her, and she that decided to work with me with promotions and advertising and things like that.
Right.
And then, we became good friends. And then one day she just stopped calling me and she stopped doing anything with us. And I said, I hope you're all right and not ill or anything. And then her mother answered and said, she has become a Christian. Please do not contact her again. She needs to stay away from people like you. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, no problem. So now years later, it's been, I don't know, 8, 9 years. She has emailed me, called me. I've ignored all of her messages and everything because basically she's apologizing, yes, but she's saying, I'm a Christian, I'm sorry of the way it happened, but I have to stay away from you. But yet she's keep constantly emailing me and calling me. I am like, I don't want her to have her parents or anyone say that I contacted her or anything or be accused of anything. So I don't respond to any of her messages. I remember saying, except for one time saying, wish you all the best in your future. Bye.
Right.
But she keeps still constantly calling me or contacting me. And I'm like, I don't want to be responsible for anything if anything happens to her.
Not only that, she's proving to you that you can't trust her. So
Yeah, I'm not going to take on that responsibility. And like I said earlier, I truly, truly believe that anyone who's a high priest or priestess or reverend or anything like that as a witch, please, please study theology across the board. Learn all of the religions if you can, and the Christian Bible. Learn it because you have to be able to defend yourselves with their Bible. not their makeshift things that some of them say, quote, out of quote context and all the different things, because that they do that. Because I've had to literally quote the whole passage in the Bible for certain people and say, that's not what it said. You're picking a few of them and putting it together to say what you want to say.
Exactly.
No. Because people will take, pastors do it, ministers do it, they will take those verses and passages and put it together into where they want to put the context.
Exactly.
And then they tell you yes, and they've got people going yes, and all the different things. No. Okay, no. Read the Bible yourself. See it for what it is. So you would learn it, and you'll be able to then respond to them in an intelligent manner as to how they understand it.
Not only that, to read the Bible, pay the most attention to what Christ said. Forget about what Peter, Paul, John, and Matthew said. They were just men with opinions. Pay attention to what Christ said, where he said there is but one commandment, that we love one another. Who are you following? Are you a follower of John? Are you a follower of Matthew? Let's talk about who you're supposed to be following. What did Christ say? You have to be able to meet them head to head on their own ground with something that they cannot dispute because it is in their Bibles. Like, well, John, I said, well, I'm not interested in what John said. This is what Jesus said. Are you following John? Who are you following here?
Yep, Mark, Matthew, Josh, Jode, whatever,
Jesus this thing for you to do. So who are you following? And that'll usually shut them up. If you can quote Christ, you can shut them up because they have no argument. This is their religion. This is their holy book. I'm pointing out, this is your holy book. This is what it says here. What is your argument? They don't have one. So it is important, especially in these times. And we've got, Goddess Monica said, 11 people in Pittsburgh, 2 people in Kentucky. Here there were 14 pipe bombs this week. This was, I don't want to get too much into politics because I don't like politics. But I remember reading about the pipe bombs being sent to people who were, famous people who had spoken out against Trump. And he made it all about him. Oh, the media was so mean to me. The media.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, no, people had their lives at risk getting pipe bombs sent to them. And your attitude is it's all about you because the media was mean to you. And I'm like, you know what? I can't deal with that. But anyway.
But this is what I mean. It's an oxymoronic, because first you tell people it's their fault. Even if they're the victim, it's their fault. Now that you're the victim, you're thinking of it on that side now. For me, really?
Right.
Which one is it? Is it their fault or your fault? Because right now he's being an oxymoronic fool. Sorry, I went there. I did not want to go there.
No, that's okay. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. And we've got Goddess Peggy, who says the problem is that people don't want to educate themselves, which is the truth. Same answer they have for school shootings. Put police in the school and arm the teachers. Arm the teachers. And you know what's going to happen if a teacher shoots a student? You guarantee the teacher's going to go to jail. Yep. There's going to be a huge lawsuit against the school. And, that is just the most ridiculous. I can't even get the words out. So I'm just going to keep rolling with what's in the chat room because I know when it's time for me to shut up and move on to something else. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Goddess Peggy says, used to be a house of worship, was off limits to any fighting. It was sanctuary. This is very true.
Yes. Like the Immortals with Highlander. Holy ground or sacred ground. Nothing goes wrong there. But now it does.
And then Goddess Monica says, the false flag shit got me. Picked a fight with someone, and I said she should meet herself. And she asked if I cast a spell. I didn't intend to. She's ridiculous and should meet herself. Yeah, I wish these people could meet themselves. Yep, Goddess, Goddess Monica goes on to say, I'll share that meme later. The rapist shouldn't have an exposed throat if he doesn't want it slit. I agree. An eclectic Goddess says, some kid here in North Carolina killed a fellow classmate today because he was being bullied by him. And let me just bring this down, which is very sad, as Goddess Monica agrees. And Peggy says, yes, I saw that. And they resumed class in 2 hours. What?
Wow.
That complacent. I was like, oh, somebody got shot. Okay, let's get back to work. You ready for your math test? Can you believe that? I mean, the children
Wow.
had to have been.
Wow. I would have thought they would have told them to go home so they can all deal with it, but I guess not.
Course.
But this is the problem. Do you see? First, they have the kids being shot up in schools and how many die, right? They are so accustomed to that one child being killed is nothing now. Give it what? Give it a couple more years, and who knows? We might be saying, give it 1 minute. Okay, bow our heads for 1 second.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Back to work. Bye. Back to class. Let's start with the test next. Literally.
I'm flabbergasted and enraged at the same time. I'm really angry. I know some of you can probably see that on my face because I usually smile and joke, but I'm pretty pissed off right now. And let's see, Eclectic Goddess says they were both 16. The one who shot him looked so troubled in the picture they showed of him. I can't believe they resumed class. What does that say? Are we that apathetic that we're just like, oh well, somebody died. Okay, next. Let's everybody take out their books and turn to chapter 5. That's just I can't even.
It's
Even
our
the
society. It's
have
our
been upset. Why
society.
are the teachers not upset? I don't understand that.
We are not. We are being given too much are coming at us every day. This person died, that person died, another shooting, mass shooting, murderer, rapist. It's all coming at us humans were not meant to be receiving this much information all at once. It makes us, I don't know, insensitive, unfeeling. Oh, it's just another one. Everybody dies.
Oh, look at us. We're being all serious, and Goddess Debbie comes and says, sorry I'm late. I'm watching fun Halloween movies. Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should just turn on some fun Halloween movies. Everybody, because there is just so much craziness going on right now, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand what's going on. But you know what? Let's go ahead because I am getting very angry, and I don't want to reflect
end it like that. Yeah.
So let's change the subject, and then we can get more angry about something else.
Let's laugh about it, people.
We can laugh about it.
We adapt. We whatever, But
okay,
yeah,
so now this one really got me, and I'm really hoping. In fact, I probably should have pulled it up. Are you at risk of being charged with the crime of witchcraft? Let me just run to this article as we.
Oh, that one. Oh my goodness, that one just. Yeah. I was just like, oh my goddess. The definition they have for witchcraft, I was like, bitch slap that person, and they're adults. These are adults. And supposedly educated adults.
They're supposed to be educated, and I'm trying to find. Just bear with me.
I was just like,
and I will find it.
At this point, I am just like, could somebody in their commissioner or someone bitch slap them and say, please educate yourself for real with this? Because the words that came out their mouth, the definition of witchcraft, shocked the hell out of me. I was sitting there going, are you bloody kidding me at this point? Are we all that dense? Seriously. But I don't know.
Okay, we're getting closer, guys. Bear with me. It will be coming up in just a moment. Here it is. Okay. First of all, this is a story about a woman who defrauded a man out of over $600,000.
Wow.
Whose name is, are you guys ready for this? First of all, if a witch approached me and told me her name was Samantha Stevenson, really? Samantha Stevenson from Bewitched? Named Baron? Do you believe that? Her name is Samantha Stevenson.
Okay.
That should have been your first clue.
Big league.
To be fair, she said her name is Samantha Stevenson, according to her. But she also goes by, I'm trying to find it. I can't, Lavona or something. I'm trying to find it here. But she was charged as, here it is, Ivana Lopez. But she was charged as Samantha Stevenson for pretending to practice witchcraft, fraud, and possession of property obtained by a crime. Now, according to, I'll just sum up the article. I won't read the whole thing, but it says here that Miss Samantha Stevenson, aka Ivana Lopez, convinced him that to rid himself of evil spirits in his home, he had to sell the house, transfer the money to her account where she would hold it until the spirits were removed. And then after he did that and handed over $600,000, she said she needed another $6,000 to burn in order to ward off the spirits. Okay, so our next clue is, if I'm supposed to sell the house, why are you still warding off the spirits and needing? I don't own the house anymore, so why are we doing this? Am I going to buy the house back? I just sold the house, and you're still trying to work on a house that I no longer own. So he gave her another $6,000, sold his car, used credit cards, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my goddess.
And then, of course, after he has no money left, then he complained.
Okay.
This is a straight up con woman who is definitely.
No. I'm not blaming this woman. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I'm not blaming this woman. I am sitting there going, okay, can I meet this man? I will sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, okay? Because you're an idiot. Nobody gives anyone $600,000. Are you bloody kidding me? For evil spirits? If you are that moronically stupid, come to New York. I will sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, okay? I'll even give you the title and the deed to it because you're that stupid. You cannot go selling your house and cars, and now you're out of the house, and you're still selling your car. You're an idiot. Neon lights on your forehead, idiot. Okay. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I am not blaming her anymore.
I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe after the first 100,000, I would say, okay, she's a con woman. But come on, she's a con woman, but you're an idiot, big time. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy for that one. I have no sympathy for him.
I do not have sympathy for this person either. I'm sorry, but come on. You knew, obviously, by the time you were broke, you could call the police. You knew something was wrong. I'm sorry. I have a very hard time feeling sorry for him. And actually, you know what? That's his issue. I don't even really care about that because he should have known better. He's a grown man.
It's what they said. It's what they're saying about the words witchcraft and what it means. Exactly. I was sitting there going, "Are you kidding?" That's the part I was appalled about, because I'm like, if someone can stand there and take 600,000 plus 6,000 more from you, I'm sorry. That's I'm sorry. That's like stupid. I can't talk to stupid and put it aside. And now let's talk about the real situation here.
Let's talk about what's really here. So according to them. It says here the offense, and this happened in Ontario,
Canada. That's where I'm from. Okay.
The offense of pretending to practice witchcraft under the Criminal Code of Canada specifically deals with individuals who fraudulently portray themselves as having fortune-telling abilities or pretend to use witchcraft, sorcery, enchantment, or conjuration in order to obtain money or valuables from a victim, and they're saying the charge is not connected in any way to any religion. Well, and I've had people, because, I posted it all over the place because I was just outraged and wanted everyone, to know about it. And I had people respond with, well, it says that she was charged with pretending to be a witch. And I'm like, listen, or pretending to be a psychic. I'm like, listen to me. You can't prove psychic abilities. I can, if my clients will stand behind me and say everything Rhonda said or whatever has worked out, but legally, I can't prove that my spells are working or that I'm an actual psychic or any of these things. Everything we do is by faith. And yes, we see results, but legally, if it takes me a year to do it or, for something to manifest or whatever, you can't legally prove it. There's nothing tangible to prove. So anybody here who is a witch, and especially a public witch who makes her living off of doing readings or making potions or things for people, is subject to being that, because how do you prove you're a witch? You can say, well, I'm in a coven, I do this or I do that. Well, prove that you can cast a spell and it really works. Or what am I thinking now? If you're a psychic, what exactly am I thinking right now? Or how much money do I have in my wallet or whatever? If you can't answer those questions, you can be accused of being a witch or pretending to be a witch, and you can be prosecuted based on those definitions. What this woman did was straight up fraud, and she should have been charged with fraud and being a con woman. By
But
saying,
that's the other thing. That's the other thing that confused me. They accused her of witchcraft, but yet none of what she did was witchcraft.
and none of what she did was witchcraft. I was like, what are you talking about?
What
And
what does one have to do with the other? I have
nothing.
no idea. What I was sitting there reading it, I'm going, I don't understand. How did they connect the dots to witchcraft? Because she said spirits?
Yeah, because I guess, I don't know. She said
I have no idea what they got
she's
this.
going to burn money. She's going to burn money to war. I don't know why she should have been charged with straight up fraud, because that offense can be assigned to any of us who make our living as public witches.
Yeah.
If the police came and arrested you today and said, well, if you're psychic, how much money do I have in my wallet? What am I thinking? What's my wife's mother's aunt's middle name?
Or they
Those
could say, or they could be even more facetious. They could say, "You should have seen me coming."
Yeah, right. Or you should have. How come you didn't know I was coming?
Yeah.
Or whatever. You can't prove it legally. There is no scientific proof that you can give a around and watch you cast spells and then hook up with the people you're doing it for and see if it's manifesting. And even if it does, let's just say they say, okay, cast a spell so that I win the lottery tomorrow. And you cast a spell and they win the lottery tomorrow. They'll just say, well, it was just luck. It was just chance. You didn't have anything to do with it. So all of us, that charge puts every single one of us at risk, because anyone can accuse us of pretending, because we can't actually offer tangible proof. That's a very dangerous charge. And so I was trying to explain, because people were like, well, it just said that she was pretending, or it doesn't really have anything to do with real witches. No, you're right. It has nothing to do with real witches, but it's us real witches that are at risk. And then someone, which I almost like shuddered, wrote on there, well, it says here that she charged, $600,000. Real witches don't charge money. The ones I know, they don't charge anything.
Oh my gosh, that's another
Or
one.
maybe they'll just charge a small fee. And I'm like, oh, so if I'm charging money for my services, then it's bad. I'm a horrible, bad person, and I can be accused of pretending to be a witch.
Oh, no. According to them, you're not a real witch. If you charge, you're not a real witch. So in other words, the doctors, the lawyers, all of them for their services. If you charge, you're not a real lawyer. If you charge, you're not a real doctor.
It's just, you know what? It's outlandish. And you know what's really outlandish? In any other spirituality, in the Christian churches, they pass the plate. People put in thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. There are churches, the one that my sister used to belong to, you had to, no questions, no excuses, you had to turn over 10% of your gross income. And I remember one day I gave my sister, keep in mind at that time, my sister had 5 young children, and she was a housewife because she couldn't afford daycare for 5 kids. And so her husband was out there working like 2 jobs to try to support everybody. And they had gotten their tax return back. And because they had all the kids, they had, a decent tax return check. And so I went to, I went to pick up my sister, and she gets in the car. And as she gets in the car, the minister's wife comes to the window.
Oh my goddess.
And hands her a $20 bill and says, here, take this back because I think you need it. And so she walks away. My sister's like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm like, well, what, I want to also explain that my sister is no longer gullible as she was 25 years ago. She accepts me. She accepts other spirituality. She is truly mature. But this is when she was in her 20s and a young Christian and very gullible and very vulnerable. And I said, what's with the $20? And she goes, you see how nice my minister is? We got our tax return check, and we gave them $300, and she gave us $20 back. I was like, you idiot. She didn't give you $20. You just lost $280. Excuse me, you know what? Wouldn't it have been nicer for you to give me my whole 300 back, knowing I've got 5 kids to feed and my husband's working 2 and 3 jobs and can't even be home because we're struggling? And you're going to give me $20? I would have taken that $20 and made her eat it. Because I know how I am. I would have taken it and stuffed it right down her throat. Because I'm just like, she has all these kids, and you're going to come to the car and give her $20 back of the 300 that she could not afford to give you.
Throat punch. You know that throat punch? This is why some people get throat punched.
I'm telling you, I was ready to take that $20, get out of the car and stuff it down her throat. That's what I wanted to do. But I was like, you know what? It's none of my business. Y'all rock on. It's none of my business. But still, all the other ministers and other religions, they get a salary, they get money. But because we're witches, we are to live in poverty and just offer our services for free.
We're not Christians. I hate telling people I'm not a Christian.
Yes.
I'm not giving up the right of poverty and all the other things. I'm just not that person.
You say Goddess Rhonda is having a margarita today. Not even wine. I'm having a margarita.
Girl, pass me some margarita, okay?
I needed something a little bit stronger than the wine with everything that's going on.
Gonna make me go out and get margarita mix tomorrow.
You need to get some. Yeah, it's like I need tequila. Yeah. I need tequila to calm myself down because there's so many things going on, and I'm getting angry about everything. And I know that that's a waste of my time. And of course, I send energy out to try to resolve the situations. But still, that really disturbed me that in this day and age, you can be charged with witchcraft. And it's like, well, you're not being charged with witchcraft. You're being charged with pretending to be a witch. Any of us can be accused of pretending to be a witch, which to me is the same as being charged with witchcraft and facing going to jail. They are equating witchcraft with fraud.
That's what I mean, because if they said you could be charged with Christianity or Catholicism or anything like that,
right?
They would never deign to have those words come out of their mouth, ever. But
that's right. And, I shared that post with a very popular group that has like 80,000 people in it. And I get a message from one of their admins. They took it down because I was naming and shaming somebody. And I'm like, I'm trying to help you people understand that we are at risk here. And you're worried about shaming someone who goes under the moniker of Samantha Stevenson, pretending that she can ward off spirits by burning money.
I couldn't figure out what they meant. Okay, got it.
Can you believe it? First of all, who burns money to ward off spirits? Are they taking bribes now? I've never heard of spirits that take bribes of money. I'm just like, this is not a person who's practicing witchcraft. She's not even pretending to practice witchcraft. She's just a straight up con woman. And you're worried about naming and shaming. And I'm trying to teach you people that we have something to be nervous about between you being attacked, and you were spiritually attacked in the park for your full moon ceremony.
Yeah.
We get attacked at Witchfest. People in synagogues are being shot. If you are not a WASP, as we used to call them, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant or Christian or whatever it was, you are at risk. And we really need to pay attention to that and do what we can to shut those risks down. Which is why I'm really glad that Goddess Starr brought up the fact of trying. If you don't know the Bible, learn it, because I can meet anybody head to head with scripture. You want to come at me, bring it, because I will shut you right down with the scripture, because I'm going to tell it to you and show it to you and point out to you exactly what it says. And I have no interest in what John said or Matthew or Luke or Mark. They were men with opinions. I have no interest in what they had to say. I will show you, what did Jesus say? What did he say? Who are you a follower of? And I will be able to fight you. And you need to be able to do that, because if you just start saying, well, we deal with the nature and the elements and things like that, they're going to shut you right down, because they're not trying to hear you. My father would always say that if you want to make it in this world, you better be able to communicate with everybody. And so it's really important for you to be able to spiritually defend yourself on their ground with what they're saying. Your life may actually depend on it one day. Be very careful, because I respect those of you who are, you're in our chat room, who you're not comfortable enough with going to work and and saying who and what you are, and that's perfectly fine. First of all, it's nobody's business what your spirituality is, and if you don't feel like sharing it, you don't have to. But for people like Goddess Starr and I, who are out there preaching to the heavens about who we are and what we do, we are at very grave risk here. And so it is very important for you to be able to defend yourself with what they're saying. I didn't know my late husband was Muslim. And I had, the only thing I knew about Muslims was what was in the paper. And I would see, I was like, oh, they treat their women terribly and blah, blah, blah. Whereas from what he showed me, the Quran preaches against hurting women. It's a whole different thing. He says it's cultural. It's not spiritual. The spiritual part of it has nothing to do with it. It's cultural. I did not know that the Quran said that the Quran was actually for women and not, saying don't hurt women and treat women with respect. Whereas I confused it with the cultural thing. So I was glad that he pointed that out to me, because I questioned him about it. And he goes, that's not what the Quran says at all. What you're talking about is what's going on culturally, which is different than what goes on spiritually. So I was grateful to be educated about that, because I didn't know.
I didn't know that either, so I'm glad you told me.
Yeah, it's important for us to learn and educate. And, Goddess Starr and I say that all the time. We never stop learning. We just learn and learn as much as we can. I love learning. I wish I had more time
to learn.
really learn
so
stuff,
much.
but eventually I've got all these 50,000 books. I'm hoping to one day get to read at least
I know.
some of them. One day I'll get to read them, but still, it is important. All right, Goddess Starr, it's your turn now to go into the chat room.
Oh, okay, all right. See, this is why I put back on my glasses, because I'm like, I'm blurring. Everything's a blur. Where did you stop, sweetie? The problem is that people don't.
Okay, let me go back to that because I have this other screen up.
Let's see. Okay, did Satsuki and May Moon? There are some.
Okay, I left off where Goddess Monica said, "Write to the Pope." When you were talking.
Oh, okay. How far up is that?
Okay, it's pretty. Let's see. Wow, people are.
Yeah, I
go up a little bit.
Okay, Goddess said, don't tell it. Okay, she mentioned I don't tell everyone that I'm a witch by Goddess Midnight. Peggy, exactly. There's not different rules for different beliefs. Hold on. Let me see if I go down a bit. Okay, let me see if I see it better this way. Okay. Okay. This beautiful. Okay, is it Debbie? I hear you're beautiful, dark goddess. Okay. And Goddess Debbie said, what? Crazy. Our local pagan pride had police protection this year because there was, for a first time, threats, but we showed in numbers and it was awesome. Well, that's beautiful. And then beautiful dark goddess says, me too. I was an ordained minister and I will shut them down on every scripture. I think you wanted to say you are an ordained minister and not was. I'm hoping. Correct. Satsuki and May Moon. I hope I said that correctly. I'm so sorry. Nothing is more satisfying than shutting down a bigot with their own religion's text and teachings. Absolutely. That's why we suggest to you guys, and I really tell people that are priestesses, reverends, please, you need to educate yourself on that so you can. That's your weapon. Your weapon. For each of them that come at you, you use their own tool against them. You use their own book against them. That's the only way that you'll have, because they are like blank walls. So unless you come at them and then all of a sudden they realize that, wow, this person knows my tool, my book, and knows how to where the words are and where the words aren't, and what's really being said. That's your weapon. Okay, then hold on. It moved down. Uh, okay. Sorry. Wow, there's so much.
I know. I'm trying to figure out. I can't even find where you were reading from. It's
Me
like,
either. I just lost it because it went up again, and I was like, no, don't do that. Need to pay. Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Wow. People really. You guys are awesome.
yay, we like this.
Yeah, we do, but it's so much. I'm trying to catch where it is. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, I did not even. I didn't realize how far down it just went down. Okay. I don't know where I was. I got it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna start with Goddess Peggy with the Lutheran priest because I have no idea where I was. It's all gone, and I'm so far down. Okay. The Lutheran priest met me before service and asked to receive communion. He literally wrinkled his nose and said, "Oh, you're the Catholic." No. Um. Maybe I should go back one more because I didn't understand that too well. Okay. All right. Wow. Really a
Well,
lot of stuff.
you know what happens? She's probably referring to, because my mother used to say the same thing.
Uh-huh.
They considered Catholics to be idolaters.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like, oh,
Okay.
Catholic people are idolaters because they worship statues, and I'm
Oh,
like,
okay. Got it. Okay. And that's true. A lot of them say have thought that. Okay. Um Goddess Debbie said, I finally told my stepmom, to just love me even though I am not Christian anymore. I still love and I agree. Learn about Bible things. That's smart. You're learning it. And you had Goddess Debbie says, you had every right to get it. He never should have judged you. I think she's speaking about the park situation with the
right,
park personnel. And Goddess Peggy said that was literally the last straw when I left the church and followed my own path. Um, and Goddess Debbie said, "You rock, Peggy. Oh, please go there, Starr." Oh, LOL. It was something I must have said. And then Goddess Peggy said to Debbie, "He told me I had to go to classes and become a member before I could receive communion." Wow. The Catholics literally let anyone receive communion. You just have to go to classes. And then Beautiful Dark Goddess says, I agree. Then the Healing Diva said, they have become desensitized to the things that are happening. That's the word I was looking for. Desensitized, because everything is coming at us so much. Eclectic Goddess 4 said, I didn't hear they resumed classes. When I saw it on the news, all the parents were picking their children up and no class for tomorrow. Okay, that would make better sense because having a class start all over again made no sense.
absolutely.
And then Star of the Highest Powers says Evangelicas equals evil angels, LOL. And then Satsuki and May Moon says these shootings happen all the time now. It's so sad. That is true. It's become too normal, and acceptable in a sense, and because again, desensitizing.
Right.
Um, Okay, and then I think Goddess Debbie was responding when she said another special kind of stupid regarding that guy because we were all talking about him. I'm sorry, he was just an idiot. And then Star of the let's see, hold on. They got Beautiful Dark Goddess says they need to respect our spirituality whether they agree with it or not. And Eclectic Goddess said that she agrees as well. Um, and Eclectic Goddess said he didn't catch that. I think she was speaking also about, I don't know what to say, LOL. I think she's speaking about the fact that the name, first of all, Samantha Stevenson, or that he's
Right.
lost $600,000 and you're still giving her 6,000. Again, I will sell him the goddamn Brooklyn Bridge, okay? And then the Healing Diva said, nice play on the name, LOL, Samantha Stevenson. I saw that article today. Yeah, and then goddess, beautiful that goddess says he was just an idiot. I totally agree. I'm sorry. I totally agree. And then eclectic goddess said, "Ain't no way," shaking her head. And then goddess Debbie says, "Okay, that the guy was a special kind of student." Yes, he was, and she was a con artist, not a witch. You guys make me laugh. And then the healing diva said he got big time. You guys make us laugh. We went from being angry and it's like, to like, okay. And Goddess Maggie says, haha, Samantha Stevens. I think we all got laughing in here. Goddess Monica, Debbie, all of us. And then Goddess Debbie said, let's send the guy to board for meeting. You guys are awesome. I'm laughing so. Okay. You guys are making me lie.
I needed this laugh. Thank you so much, guys. I
thank you
needed
guys.
that.
You guys are making us laugh. Um, Goddess Debbie said, "Yet putting witch into it as a con artist, that was not good." But in general, beautiful dark goddess says, "I don't like spiritual hustlers," and that part is true.
Right.
I don't know if she was being spiritual though. That's the thing, because um, I'm not using names or terms, but in New York City, there are the gypsies that have the front store thing, and they live there as well. And they will literally call me over and say things like that too. And I'm like, yeah, I can see my own spirits. Thank you very much. And I walk on. I can see my own spirits. I don't need to be deciphered. I got them. I got it in check. I'm okay. And I walk away. It's up to you to decide if you want to be taken in or not. Let's see. And beautiful dark goddess says, um, okay, one second. Back up a bit. Goddess Peggy said people like that Fruit Loop give real witches a bad name. Like those witches who want to hex the president. Oh my goddess, girl, don't even go there. Don't get me started.
Please don't get us started on that one.
Oh my gosh, because that one I think was the most, and some of them I know. I know the store that was held in Brooklyn. And I feel very bad that they were involved with that at all. I'm not even going to say what I really want to think about that, so we'll just go past that. And then Goddess Debbie says, "Give me $20 and I'll send you magical beans, and they'll get planted and grow." Right? Okay. Jack and the Beanstalk. It reminded me of that. Okay. And then Eclectic Goddess said she needs to watch out playing that man like that. All we just got finished discussing. He might blow her brains out. Exactly.
Right.
So now he has nothing, nowhere to go. So who knows how desperate he might become.
That's right.
You're absolutely right. And then beautiful Dark Goddess says she will now have to pay for a court case ritual. Yeah. Okay. Goddess Peggy says exactly. She conned the guy out of the money, straight up fraud. Exactly. And then Goddess Debbie says Goddess Starr is onto something. We don't need to pay. Yeah, you don't. And then Goddess, beautiful dark Goddess says people always get upset when I explain sometimes more than one ritual may be needed for a situation they want to buy one and get one free. Are we? We must be what you call it? Is it pay less and
right.
buy one get one free?
Yes.
Well, I'm not Payless. I'm not any of those people. I'm sorry. And then Goddess Peggy says, okay. Then Goddess Monica says, "Thank you, ladies, for speaking my mind." Oh, you're quite welcome, sweetie. We love doing it. And you speak our minds so much. And then Goddess Peggy says, haha, yes, Goddess Starr. Apparently, I shouldn't get a paycheck for my work. Exactly, girl.
That's right.
Give it all away for free, and you become homeless on the street because you've given it all away free. Oh my goddess. Anyways, and then Goddess Debbie says, I love my Unitarian Universalist church. Even if we can give, we don't get kicked out. They want you there. They want you there for love. Hugs to spiritual growth. Thank you, Goddess Debbie. Okay, and then let's go down. Oh, right. Debbie says midnight margaritas. We've got to do that. We haven't done that in a while.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, we got to do that sometime soon. Um, let's see. God, beautiful dark goddess says, I will never go back to Christianity religious doctrines. And then Goddess Peggy says throat punch. And then Goddess Debbie going down a bit has our local pagan pride had police protection this year because there was for a time threats, but we showed in numbers and it was awesome. Okay, that's where I was. Wow, I had missed a lot of stuff before that.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, I think I said all of that other parts before. Thank you both for education. I love learning from other people. That was Goddess Debbie that said that. Oh, I'm down near the end. And then Satsuki and May Moon says, you said it right. And then Goddess Debbie said, Goddess Starr going down on us. LOL. And then Satsuki and May Moon. I do well at 1 minute with her name, and then the next minute I butcher it. I'm so sorry. My video just cut out and I came back on explosive laugh. Yes, because everybody made us laugh so much with all the things that they were saying. So we went from being angry to laughter. So that's where you guys all come in. You're just like
yes.
that other support.
Appreciate that. I'm so appreciative that all my anger is gone now and I'm smiling and I feel good again. You guys really cheered me up and thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, the words that you guys offer, because it's all part of the whole cycle with everything, because we discussed some not so nice things and situations that are very, very real. So I think that's our magic, magic of being able to be there to support one another with the smiles and the love and the everything else that goes with it.
Exactly. All right. Well, when I see the time has passed.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Next week, we will talk about if we're dumbing down our magic and our powers, but we'll save that for next week. Yeah. I do want to again thank you for really making me and Goddess Starr laugh, because we were getting very serious and very angry. I saw, there's a delay on the actual Facebook page as opposed to the screen that we look at. And I had looked at it to see the chat room, and I saw my face, and I'm just like, frowning, like, oh, and I'm like, that's not usually how I look. It's like I felt bad. So you really did help, because you really helped us to lighten up with your love and your support and your humor, and just knowing that you're with us and we have each other's back, and we just love you to pieces. I can't express it enough how much you mean to us and how grateful we are to have all of you guys in our lives. You're like our family, and we just love hanging out with you guys on Monday night and talking and chatting and just being ourselves. So thank you for just being the most awesome people ever.
Yes. Just for being you guys, just for being who you are.
Just for being who you are. And so with that said, we're going to go ahead and end it here. Yeah. So of course, we wish you an awesome week, and we will see you back here on Monday, and also an awesome Samhain.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. An awesome, happy, blessed, safe Samhain to all of you guys.
And safe, yes, please be safe.
And I am going to that park again on Samhain on Wednesday.
There you go, guys. And we will be with you in spirit.
Yes, have a blessed Samhain, okay?
All righty. So with that said, merry meet, merry part,
and merry meet again.
We love you.
Love you guys.
We'll see you next week.
Yes.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.